gang, we do this every single week, 12 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Pacific. I want you to keep showing up. I want you to improve your knowledge, your skills, your mindset, your habits around attracting agents to your revenue share organization. Now, we do this free of charge, of course, because we want EXP not only to keep up with the competition or even beat the competition. No, we want to pound the competition into submission. And it's going to take all of us collectively as a group to make that happen. Now, Chris, you just attracted, you're putting the final touches on it. You said, getting through the financials, getting through I'm sure the stacking of the revenue share organization of a brokerage with over 200 agents. So Chris, tell me, where did they come from?
Oddly enough, this is a good learning lesson story for everyone. So they were being attracted by a person who's a friend of mine at the company and who's not in my downline. And she had been working with them for quite some time, and sort of two critical errors happened there. Number one, not bringing all the decision makers to the table right away. And number two, sharing my website. So this is sort of an odd story that I took the time early on to build out a website, to sort of build my name and have one thing that I could send to people with my own video, not the model explained, all of my own stuff in there. And I had been sort of coaching her throughout the process on bringing this brokerage in, not knowing who the brokerage was. She was under an NDA, so she never said the name or even where they were. And the one person that she had been talking to, who's the real estate side of this, she sent him my website, and then he shared that with his business partner, who is not so much in the real estate agent space, but he's the money guy. And that guy watched all of my stuff and then called me at 7 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday and said, I'm so-and-so. We've been thinking about making a move to EXP. And, I saw your stuff on YouTube and I loved it. Can you talk? So I spent an hour on the phone with the guy, and he was asking me questions about the service I provide to my downline in connection with agent attraction. And of course, we were an hour deep into the conversation when he said to me, oh yeah, and by the way, we've been talking to so-and-so. And I was like, oh no, because I've spent hours, helping her bring this brokerage in without knowing who the brokerage was. And they ended up getting together, he and the other partners, and saying, we need your service. We have 260 families we're thinking about. We want you. So it's, what I mean? It was sort of, and I've been on the other side of that coin multiple times since I've been here.
Me too, buddy. Me too.
And it sucks. It's odd being on this side of that equation, I got to admit, but I mean, it's incredibly exciting, but it's a lesson for everyone. I wrote in I keep a notebook with me 24/7. I have one in every room of the house. And I wrote in there at one point, this is, before I even knew Shon, but I said, BJ Kinder is what I wrote in my notebook. And what that meant to me was nobody ever asked who's in Jay Kinder's upline. No one. He was the end all be all. People wanted to be part of what he had going on. And that, it could have been any name. It could be Shon Kokoszka. It could be Mike Sherrard. It could be any one of, a dozen people off the top of my head. But I wanted to sort of become a person who nobody says, well, who's in your upline? I wanted it to stop where they wanted to be with me. And I've just sort of kept that mantra in mind for, it's been a year and a half now. And that's why, I made all my own stuff. And that website, which, I'm a moron when it comes to this kind of shit. So I literally was, at the office till 4:45 in the morning, learning how to build a website, learning how to use Zapier and link Google Forms into it and have that link into my CRM. Like, I didn't know how to do any of this crap, but you can learn everything on YouTube. And that's what I did. And all that work that was, over 2 years ago, and the website's just been evolving ever since, finally paid off, that somebody sees it and it's going to be a life-changing experience now, because these guys are like, we want to have 10,000 agents under us. And I'm like, giddy up, son, let's do this. You know what I mean? I couldn't be more excited to help them do this. And it's going to change the whole landscape here in San Diego.
Chris, what is that, buddy?
Hmm?
What is that? Tell everybody, what is that?
What's what?
Well, it's winning, brother. And I love it when you're
Oh.
winning. Hey, out of curiosity, how many of you guys want to see Chris's website? I'd like to see that myself. Chris, do you mind pulling it up? Share your screen. I've given you permission to do so.
Sure.
Let's check that thing out. Come on.
Pull it up. I'm down in my bunker and I don't have my, Kelly moved in over the weekend. So, you know, I have now been relegated to the lower level. So I moved my office down here and we don't have the Wi-Fi extenders yet. So this is it. It's just, pardon me, it's a Google site, but, so I just built in, like, instead of sending people emails with information, I just send them this because then you know, I'm constantly updating it. So they always have the current link. And after talking to John Mendelson, when I heard him speak that day on your, on this call, I called him that night and spent an hour on the phone with him. The guy's amazing. And I'm actually doing his coaching program this month.
That's
And
awesome. Good.
It
is awesome, you guys. I will fully endorse John's program.
Yeah.
In fact, I liked it so much that I worked out an arrangement with John. John is now working directly with Icon Coaching. So John, congratulations on that. And yeah, we'll get to that later today. I want to give them an opportunity to kind of last minute register for your launch tomorrow. John, you with us today?
I am. You just can't tell it's me because I finally got a haircut after about 4 months and I'm not wearing my hat.
I'm in the same boat, brother. It's this week. The gauntlet's been laid down that it's time.
Yeah.
Love it.
I think this is the first.
All right.
I think this is the first time, Sean, I haven't worn a hat on this, and I've been at every one of these since I think I met you March of last year. So we're about probably 12 months almost to the day. So this is what I look like without a hat.
And you never missed a session. Congratulations.
Never missed one.
First time without a hat.
Yep. My wife told me if I didn't get my hair cut,
just so
I didn't
y'all know, he
home.
does have hair. Look at that.
Yeah, my wife said if you don't get that cut, you don't get to come back home. Like this is. It was. I was starting to get a mullet. She's like, "This isn't 1980."
I'm frozen here. I don't know.
All right, enough about that. What are the top 10 reasons to join EXP, Chris?
Well, I'm actually redoing all of this after having spoken with John. I was in the process and was almost done redoing my video, and it was all about, you know, the reason to join EXP is opportunity. And then in a month span, I went to 3 different trainings. One was with you. One was through an NLP, like a weekend intensive on NLP, and another one was a real estate sales training. And in all 3 trainings, it's like, dude, how many times do you have to get hit on the head before you start listening? Where it kept saying, people don't necessarily run towards an opportunity as much as they run away from pain. And that got me thinking. And then that's where your little diagram, you know, with the 4 boxes and the positive present, positive future, everything started clicking together for me. So I'm actually redoing this video now, and it's going to be 30 minutes or less. And the whole thing is going to be, to me, the 3 pillars of EXP are increasing your production as an agent, problem number 1. Number 2, second pillar, keeping more of your hard-earned money. And number 3, achieving financial freedom so that you're not trading time for money. So all of the reasons that I talk about in this video, which includes the training, the support, the resources, the technology, the collaboration, you know, RevShare, stock, commission splits, low fees, etc. All of those top 10 reasons all fall under one of those 3 pillars. And it's all talking about, you know, when John and I spoke that day, it made so many things click together for me. How I've set up my pipeline now is I'm doing the prospecting calls just like John does that are quick. I'm not getting engaged in a conversation about EXP during the prospecting calls. That's to set an appointment. Then the first real call I do with them is the exploration call, where I'm not even really talking about EXP. I'm walking them through saying, look, this is not a call for me to try to recruit you. I want to see if EXP is even a good fit for you. And if it's not, I'll be the first one to tell you. The last thing I want to do is waste time onboarding somebody if this isn't going to be a good fit for them. So at that point, then I literally just walk through and discover their pain and just say, tell me about you. Tell me about your business. Are you full-time? Are you part-time? If you're part-time, do you want to go full-time? What's your plan of execution to make that transition? Then asking them, and this is particularly relevant, guys, for the people who say I'm good where I'm at. One of the things I learned at that NLP training is that most people's comfort zones aren't actually comfortable. It's predictable discomfort. It's what they've gotten used to and they're okay with it. So what you need to show them, and this all loops in with Shon's training, which is what I literally have the diagram tacked up on my desk. It's, you can't take somebody from a positive present to a positive future. They think they're good where they're at. So you first take them from that positive present into negative present. And you do that by simply asking them questions to say, well, you think you're good where you're at, but you're paying a 7 or an 8% franchise fee on top of all of your deals, right? What's your commission split there? Oh, I have a great commission split. Well, what is it? It was 75-25. That ain't a great commission split, pal. You know what I mean? You're in the minor leagues. And then add the franchise fee on top of that. What other fees do you have? Oh, well, we get really great training. Well, that's great. How often does that happen? You know what I mean? Well, once a week we have our office meeting and we get 15 minutes of training during that. So it's sort of walking them through where I don't even talk about EXP. I'm just gathering information to undermine that foundation where they think they're good where they're at. It's because they don't know any better. I've asked over 400 agents the question, what did you pay to your brokerage last year? Anybody can have a guess as to what the percentage was of people who answered that question? 0. Not a single person has been able to tell me how much they paid to their broker last year. That's somebody who's not tracking their business. So, Shon, I don't know if you're talking to me. I can't hear you.
Chris, let's be honest. Many agents, they don't want to do that math, do they?
No.
They see it on their commission disbursement agreement. They say, oh, well, it's not that much. Yeah, guys, that adds up over a course of 12 months. There's no doubt about that.
Right.
So many agents, they say, no, I'm on a 100% commission split. Oh, really? You get 100% of your commissions.
Right.
Let me just ask, how does your brokerage stay in business? Oh, well,
Right.
Shon, we have $495 transaction fee. It's a flat fee. That's it. Okay, how many transactions did you close last year?
Right. 40. Right.
Exactly.
Right.
So let's do the math. You're paying your brokerage almost 20 grand per year. And to what benefit?
Right.
How would you rate your brokerage on a scale from 0 to 10 on their ability to provide you with equity, stock ownership, and the brokerage you work so hard for?
Yep.
Oh, they don't do that, Shon. It's a 0. Ouch. Positive present to negative present, negative future, right? We've got to get them to self-discover. You can't tell them that you're in a discomfort position that's predictable. You can't tell them that. You've got to allow them to self-discover.
Right.
And now, John, shooting these videos is simple. Yet so many people get hung up on, well, what kind of camera equipment do you use? I need a green screen. I need this special microphone. No, guys. And you can see what John, or what Chris has done here. He's simply opened up a Zoom meeting all by himself.
I did it Google Meet. And I literally just
Google Meet. Okay,
just
so Google
recorded.
Meet,
I had
meeting, whatever.
Right.
And you just simply hit the record button and you record your video. You walk them through a slide deck. He's just sharing his screen, just like he's doing right now. It's really simple. And guys, within a couple of hours, you can assemble a series of videos. Now, of course, I'd encourage you to do some benchmarking and trending. Maybe go to Chris's website, check out some of the videos. Go to joinshon.com, check out some of the videos there that further articulate maybe the different benefits associated with EXP. Now, when I pitch EXP, I talk about the 8 different ways that we compensate agents, yet I don't talk about that at first. I talk about awareness. I talk about an apples to apples comparison because, prescription before diagnosis is malicious malpractice. So we must diagnose where are they at, and in so doing, allowing them to self-discover, we move them psychologically from this positive present mindset down to a negative present mindset. From negative present, negative future. Now they're ready to go up too positive future, they want to learn about EXP. And until then, you guys, they're closed-minded. They're happy where they're at. And that's the number one objection you're going to hear, is that I'm happy where I'm at.
I hear it every day.
Now, I do want to share with you a simple NLP strategy. When somebody says, I'm happy where I'm at, this strategy is called level shifting. So write it down, level shifting. So you say, well, Shon, I'm not looking to make a move. I'm really happy where I'm at. You say, well, I totally get that. Yet here's one thing I've learned. For most agents, the more money they're making, the more transactions they're closing, the more their hard-earned commissions they get to keep in their own pocket. By the way, the more time they can spend with loved ones instead of grinding it out at work to make ends meet, well, the happier they are. So, Chris, it's really about your bank account balance and your production at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yep.
See, the moment they say yes, it's no longer about them being happy where they're at. It's really about their production and their bank account balance. Now you can have a real conversation with them about their production, about their bank account balance. So let's just assume that the EXP opportunity would in fact make you more money, let you have more closings, increase your stock portfolio, and enhance your ability to ultimately retire and exit from this industry someday. Would it be worth investing just 30 minutes of your time to learn about the fastest growing brokerage in the history of real estate? Well, since you put it that way, I suppose so. So it's level shifting, guys. It's a really simple strategy. It's not about this. It's really about that. The mistake a lot of agents make or recruiters make is the person says, well, I'm happy where I'm at. I love my broker. Well, tell me, what do you love about your brokerage? No, that's a major no-no, you guys. What you're doing is you're cementing the thoughts in their mind as to why they should stay at their current brokerage. You're strengthening that foundation. In fact, that cement is now dry. If you ask that question, it's going to take a jackhammer to dislodge it. Okay. Right now, the cement is wet. Let's just stay away from it. Let's not let it set up and cure it dry, right? Let's simply level shift away from that part of the conversation. Let's talk about what we want to talk about. It's their production and their bank account balance. I trust this makes sense to each and every one of you. And Chris, I'm impressed, man, that you've taken the time, you built out this landing page, this website, and you've hosted some videos there. Now, the next question is, how do you create awareness around the fact that you got this website? Because you could have the best website on the face of the planet as it relates to EXP agent attraction. Yet, if nobody knows about it, then what's the point? So how do you get it out there? And John, we're going to come to you in just a second. How do you get it out there to people to actually visit that site?
I mean, normal people would be posting this shit all over social media constantly. I'm a knucklehead who loves to do things the hard way. So with me, I'm always sending that. I'm like John, where I'm making calls all day, every day, just pounding the phones. Every single agent I have ever met, I have close to, I don't know, God, it's like 15,000 people in my CRM. Pretty much everyone has been manually entered. It's every human I've ever met, every agent I've ever met, every business card I've ever gotten. And when I'm reaching out, I'm not usually sending that to people until I've done my exploration call with them, and then doing that button up like you just did, and using John's scripting as well of that universal objection handler that he has is absolute money, where they're like, nah, I'm good where I'm at, or I'm not interested, blah, blah, blah. Well, look, that's great, man. But let me ask you, if I could show you how I could put an extra 30 to 50 grand in your bank account every single year without you doing anything differently than you're doing right now, would that be worth 30 minutes of your time? And when they say yes, that's when I'm sending them that link and telling them, watch the video. I have the sort of main one that's going to be less than 30 minutes that sort of covers the whole kit and caboodle. And then breakout videos, like I don't know if you guys saw there, but I have like an EXP for brokers, because that's a whole different conversation. That's an add-on to the original video. I have revenue share explained. I made the mistake in the beginning where I was like, I want to have one video that explains everything. And all that proved was that I am shitty at marketing, because nobody wants to listen to me talk for an hour and 20 minutes straight and be like, wow, he knows everything. He's going to cover all of it. You lose their attention before they get to the meat and potatoes. So I'm doing breakout videos where in the main video, it talks about revenue share and he mentions it, but it says, if you want to get more information, go to this video. And then I have a very detailed, Jackie Bowman's the one who taught me how to explain RevShare, because she used to be an elementary school teacher, so she can talk to dumbasses like me. And she did it on a whiteboard, and I was like, oh, now it makes sense. So I took that and sort of converted that into, again, a slide deck that walks through and explains revenue share from top to bottom, because now I know how to explain the entire thing. Most people, including myself for a long period of time, do not. You know the general, the basics of it, but there's a lot of nuances and details in there that you really have to understand to be able to answer people's question. But that's a whole separate thing, because guys, most of the time, people don't even want to hear about revenue share. Most of the agents I talk to, they're not, that's actually what is keeping them from EXP is, I heard it's a recruiting company and I don't want to recruit. So until I go through the exploration call with them and find out, is that something they'd even be interested in, I'm not going to talk about it with them at all. One of the guys I'm bringing in probably in the next week, he's already putting in his LOI today. He paid his broker over 200 grand last year in commissions. Guys, excuse my language, but that's fucking bananas. There's no reason anybody should ever be doing that. So for a guy like that, who he is the brand, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter what brokerage he's at. Everybody knows who this guy is and they love him. He's got constant repeat business. So for him to pay that brokerage $200,000 and in exchange, he's pushing their marketing out for them, it's nuts. And that's all it took with him. He didn't care really. Revenue share is nice and he's going to make a fortune because people are going to follow him in droves. But it's an add-on. All he wants to do is say, I can put an extra 200 G's in my pocket without doing anything different. Done. And that's the end of that. So you have to understand who you're talking to. And that's why I have separate breakout videos, because certain things are only going to be important for certain people. If you're talking to an investor or a developer who is either not licensed or, considering getting licensed, it just makes sense. If you are, if you're somebody who's flipping houses or you're, doing whatever in real estate, it just makes sense to have your license. You can do your own due diligence. You can leverage a lot more opportunities. That's a particular profile though. A broker owner, that's a different profile. You know what I mean? So you break out where they can go and get more information as they want it, but that your main video, and guys, it took me 2.5 years to 3 years to finally wake up and realize that this is a marketing piece. It's not an explanatory, look how smart I am, I can tell you everything about EXP. That's not that, because nobody's going to watch it. You get it down to like that reasonable amount of time where you're hitting all of the talking points, the things that are going to pique their curiosity, that are going to pique their interest. And then once they've watched the video, then you're doing the, what I just call the post-prezo call or the three-way call. And that's when you're escalating it to your senior partner and you're having that deeper discussion on the items that are of particular importance to them, getting them over the hump and getting them closed. So after talking to John, I've been in mad scientist mode for a month straight now, rebuilding my entire pipeline, all of my scripting, all of my email templates, everything's undergone an overhaul. And
well, Chris, let me ask it. Is it worth it?
Hell yeah. It's already, look, it's already paid dividends. The first person I used that objection handler on, boom. The very first one. You know what I mean? So it's everybody.
Not over to you,
guys,
buddy. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, everybody most people are resistant. That's what you guys got to understand. When you hear that stat that only 12 people at EXP are receiving revenue share,
12%. Yeah.
Don't turn that into don't do what I did and turn that into the narrative I wanted to hear. I mean, we all have that tendency to hear what we want to hear. And I took that and said, see, most agents at EXP, they're not even focused on recruiting. They're not doing recruiting at all. They're just selling real estate. But then when you look around and you're talking to a lot of agents, you realize, no, it simply means that only 12% of the people at EXP don't suck at recruiting. They're the ones who are doing it successfully because we've all been trying. And everybody I talk to in my group, they're all like, well, that's not me. I like to do it this way. Well, Tracy Gagnon said one of the best things I've ever heard in my entire life in a training that I was at live with her, doing a role play with somebody, and the girl said, "Well, you know, Tracy, I get it that works for you, but that just doesn't sound like me." And I don't know if you guys know Tracy Gagnon. She's like, 100 pounds of velvet fury. And she just delicately puts her hand on this woman's shoulder. And she's like, "Sweetheart, it's not supposed to sound like you. It's supposed to sound like somebody who makes $2 million a year in revenue share." And you literally hear me in the background, I think, going, "I love you, Tracy. This was the greatest thing I'd ever heard." You know what I mean? So guys, this is a formula. There's a science to this. This is why I've been coming on Shon's calls, because I sort of know innately how to do a lot of this stuff, but it's not scientific. I'm not understanding why. When you listen to somebody like Shon or like John, who understands the science and the methodologies behind this shit, it starts to click, it starts to make sense, and you'll start to speak differently. We'll sort of control our own natural tendencies, which, as you can all tell, mine is to talk. When I'm on a call with somebody, it's talk less, more questions. That's interesting. Tell me more about that. And every time I find myself running off at the mouth, I pause and then immediately just ask them another question to re-engage them in the conversation.
There you go, Chris. Well, the person talking in the conversation, sure, they dominate the conversation, yet the person asking questions controls the direction of the conversation, undoubtedly. So John, over to you real quick. You've been patient. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, that's not my greatest. My best friend told me once that patience is not something you're given. It's something you're given the opportunity to exercise. And I don't exercise that skill. So that was good. So Chris, first thing I say every time I talk to you, I just close my eyes and all I hear is take away the unethical things that the guy did. All I hear is Jordan Belfort's voice. I mean, it's a knockoff. So couple three things. So level shifting. Shon, I don't overcome objections ever. I'm undereducated enough to not know that was called level shifting. I just don't want to deal with overcoming objections. So yeah, the 30 to 50 grand, that will work with any single objection. It doesn't matter because I'm not talking about their objection. I'm just asking them if 30 to 50 grand is worth 20 minutes of their time. And from when I started that objection handler till now, I run about a 50% conversion from what I call a soft no, which is I'm just throwing an objection out there because I don't want to talk to you, to, okay, yeah, I'll set an appointment. So the second thing I wanted to touch on real quick is Chris, I am so excited to watch your next 12 months. What we're going to do in the coaching program is we're not going to change what you're doing. We're just going to hone it down a little bit. And I think your RevShare is just going to change your life. The third thing that I would say is when I'm having a conversation with somebody and they say, yeah, but I'm not a recruiter, my response is always the exact same thing. Good. Don't be. I am, and I'm really damn good at it. So all I need is 5 people that you know in real estate that know you, like you, trust you, and will not hang up on me when I mention your name, and I'll recruit them and I'll put them in your front line, my line too. We double dip, we both get paid. And that is in my opinion, that shifts so many conversations. And again, it's not an objection handler to the script, but that's more into the conversation. And then the fourth thing that I wanted to say is currently the best model explained that I have found is Allison Gaddy, and it's 17 minutes long, but I cut off the last 2 minutes because she's talking about her organization, Allison Gaddy, Gaddy. You can find that on YouTube. And the key to the model explained video, watching it with them, is with my appointment process, it's a 20-minute call. We don't talk about the model explained. We go through my brokerage comparison spreadsheet and a slide deck that I have. We don't touch on the 8 different ways yet. We touch on 3 or 4 of them. Then the second is the model explained. And here's the key I found with the model explained. It's a 30-minute call, but the video can only be 15 minutes because you have to have some scripting on the front end and you have to have some scripting on the back end, because scripting on the back end takes you from the model explained call to the 3-way call. And Shon, what do I say every single time we talk about appointments? An appointment is not an appointment unless you set the next appointment. It's literally a waste of everybody's time. So if you're not going through, because I use a 3-step process, a 20-minute exploration call, a 30 to 45-minute model explain call, and then a 3-way call. Chris, what I think that you have, you're sitting on a gold mine is we know it takes an average of 4 to 6 good exposures to EXP to move somebody over. So you run a system where you're having 3 calls, you've got an endless supply of arrows in your quiver to send them the videos that you've made. And now those are supplemental videos that they'll watch because you've already built your relationships with 6 minutes of your cold call, with 20 minutes of your first call, and with 30 minutes. So you have 56 minutes of a relationship built, and now they'll watch the video versus what everybody used to do, which is, cool, I'll send you Brent Gove's model explained. It's 45 minutes long, and they're not going to watch it. The average that I saw was about 4.5 minutes. And even when I watched it with them, I had to do it at 1.5 speed because let's face it, guys, who has the attention span for 45 minutes about something they're not really that interested in? So if you can figure out a way to hack that down to 15 minutes of a 30-minute call, you'll be golden to get them to the 3-way call. My other comment on 3-way calls are, if you have not watched Casey Council's 3-way call training from Brent Gove's Tahoe, and your sponsor has not, neither one of you deserves to be doing a 3-way call. I will not do a 3-way call with somebody who hasn't watched that video, because that walks you through exactly, guys, this is a science. There's some art to it, but the reality is I look at everything. I just follow the money, right? I follow the money. In RevShare, it's following the agents. Who has got a lot, and what you'll find is there's a lot of people that that used to do these sort of outbound marketing. Chris, I'm glad you're not sending them to YouTube for it, because you know what? There's too much noise now on YouTube about EXP. The probability that they're going to watch your video and then not watch somebody else's video who's better looking and doesn't sound like Jordan Belfort, and then they're going to go with them, which would be me, of course. Yeah, I mean, look at this hair. This is freshly cut. No, but if you have the system to bring them through, and Chris, you're so there, we're just going to hone down a couple of things. We're going to automate some stuff for you. And next year, your future is going to look totally different. The final thing that I'll say, and I said it I think on yesterday call with you, Shon, is I have spent my entire life being very good at making what I considered the pretty sizable amount of money fairly quickly, over and over and over again. And now I don't do anything that pays me once. And if you can get people to understand that about revenue share, it's going to pay them every month for the rest of their lives and their kids' lives and so on and so forth. Now you can change the conversation from what's my split to what's my exit strategy and what does it look like to wake up to 10 to 15 grand a month before you get out of bed. And I will tell you, 5 grand a month before you get out of bed changes the 99% of the real estate agents out there. That changes their lives.
It does, no doubt, John. I logged into my revenue share dashboard yesterday morning. I looked at the number, I wrote down the number, and then I logged in last night before I went to bed. And the difference was about $4,850 that I made yesterday, and I didn't even think about it. You understand this, the power of this revenue share, this wake up money, guys. And quite frankly, even if you don't wake up, take it in the spirit, I mean it, your family still gets that money. It's inheritable. So Dante, my son's on the line. Doesn't that feel good, Dante? Knowing that you guys are going to be taken care of at a very high level, thanks to this model for years and years to come, even after I'm gone. And guys, it just feels so amazing. And if you want to learn more on how to do that, guys, it's free. I want you to just engage in it. Just throw caution to the wind, okay? You have nothing to lose. I want you to go to Icon Coaching. Paul Hellam is here. He's my right-hand man. He's a consultant with Icon. He's going to walk you through a free coaching session. He's going to help you identify strategies, tactics that you can implement, deploy like right now today to start getting more traction as it relates to attraction. So I do want you to walk away with something you can do today. And I want your commitment on this something. So yes, there's going to be a homework assignment. And here it is. Every conversation that you guys create in the normal transactional workflow that you do, I'm going to ask that this week you just have a 60-second add-on conversation to the conversations you're already having. Now, most agents are talking to anywhere from 5 to 15 agents a week. Again, just in the normal transactional workflow that you're doing. Maybe an agent calls you about one of your listings, or you call an agent about one of their listings. Well, you ask your question, you get your answer, and you say, oh, by the way, do you have just 60 seconds? I have a very direct question I'd love to ask you. They say, yeah, go ahead. Well, I respect your time, so I choose to be direct. Tell me, have you actually sat down? Have you taken the time to investigate the EXP model as it relates to your production, your stock portfolio, and your ability to retire in the next 3 to 5 years? Because I got to tell you, the finances, the economics here at EXP, they're life-changing. Have you actually taken the time to investigate the model? No, I haven't. I've been busy, or whatever they say. Well, let's do this. Right? You might even throw in a adverb presupposition, which is an NLP strategy. You say, well, luckily, you and I are on the phone, which means we need to simply set an appointment. Now, that's cause and effect in NLP, right? Being on the phone doesn't mean a darn thing, yet when people believe in cause and effect, one event causes another to occur. Luckily, you and I are on the phone. That's the event, which means we should set an appointment. Now, any event can cause the next event to happen. Let me ask the question, do we live in a cause and effect world? One event causes something else to happen, yes or yes? So being on the phone doesn't mean a darn thing until you give it meaning, which means we need to set an appointment. I'm going to articulate the 8 different ways that you should be being compensated from your current broker, which you're probably not. I'm going to show you how to increase your net worth, your stock portfolio, and enhance your ability to retire in the next 3 to 5 years. No joke, if you choose to retire in the next 3 to 5 years. So tell me, when is the best time for you and I to get together? So weekdays or weekends? Well, Shon, I'm busy. Well, that's exactly why we need to meet. And quite frankly, maybe you don't want any extra money, yet let me quickly ask. If I could show you how to put an extra $30,000 to $50,000 in your bank account year after year, and you're doing nothing different than you're doing today, would it be worth investing just 30 minutes with me to learn about the fastest growing brokerage in the history of real estate? Guys, that's it. And if each one of you took that assignment seriously and you spoke with every agent and just said, you have just 60 seconds, I have a very direct question I'd love to ask you. I guarantee you, you're going to start building revenue share. You're going to start capturing the rapt attention of individuals who are not looking to shift brokerages until you take them through that positive present to negative present to negative future to positive future. By the way, if you want to learn how to do that aggressively and master that part of the presentation, I'd strongly encourage you, check out Attraction in Action. In fact, Tim Ventura, my marketing guy here at EXP, he's a rock star, he's a stud. He builds all this stuff in the behind the scenes, right? He's my who, so which means who, not you, right? Instead of me doing it, Tim gets to do all that stuff, and he does a great job. Tim, way to go. He's building out the registration pages. We're going to be doing Attraction in Action live again the first week of April. I've learned so many things over the course of the last year that I want to just really plus and enhance that program. And again, we're launching it actually the second week of April. Those registration pages will be up by next week, right, Tim? So we're going to post those to the next week's session. I encourage you to just dive in, guys. It's a very inexpensive way for you to enhance your knowledge, skills, mindset, and habits, recognizing that your business and production, your revenue share group, it's going to grow to the extent that you personally grow. Like one of the things Chris said earlier, he said, be Jay Kinder, be Brent Gove, be Gene Frederick. And he's talking to the biblical law of be, do, have, right? See, a lot of people say, well, if I had what Gene Frederick has, then I could do what he does. Then I could be the person I want to be. Guys, it's backward. Or they say, if I do the work, then I'm going to have the frontline agents, the revenue share group's going to grow. So if I do the work, then I'm going to have the income. Then I could be the person I want to be. That's totally backward as well. See, it's not about having first. It's not about doing first. It's about being first. And
it's about becoming, Shon. You know what I mean?
That's exactly right. So you got to do within while doing without.
Right.
You got to be that person today. Then when you think like that person thinks, when you're being that person, then you're going to do what you need to do. And then you're going to have whatever it is you want. As I look at Chris's evolution, he said, well, hey, this current strategy, yeah, it's getting a little traction, yet I know that there's that next level of success, that next level of growth that I strive to get to. I need to change my state of being. Am I right, Chris? I need to be a different person. I need to learn different things. He was up till 4 o'clock in the morning building out a website. He didn't know how to do that stuff. He's doing YouTube channel videos on how to connect Zapier to Google Sheets, how to connect Zapier to his CRM, to integrate this data. He's improving his state of being. Now, there's 4 categories that impact the strength, the depth, the width, the amount of rebar in your foundation. It's your knowledge, your skills, your mindset, and your habits. See, it's those 4 things that impact your state of being. A lot of people say, training, I don't need to do that. I got this all together. I know exactly what I'm doing. Yet there's always a better way. I think you guys would agree. So attend all the training you can. Invest in yourself. Get in the right rooms with the right people. You're definitely in the right place today with these rock stars that we invite week after week after week just to pour into each other to improve our state of being. So we do things differently and to have whatever it is we want in our life. So begin being that person today. And John, you had something else to add. Go ahead.
Yeah, I do. And I'm not trying to shift it off because what you said plays really well into this. I want to give everybody a homework assignment as well. And I have no vested interest in what Icon is doing. But I got on this call in March of last year. I talked to Paul shortly after. I took Attraction and Action. I attended every single week. And it wasn't specific things that I pulled out of this call that changed my life. My mindset changed. I then hired Shon as a coach. Since then, we've got some business things we're doing together. But what I'm saying is, if you really want to change your ability to do revenue share, the first thing you need to change is your mindset on revenue share. Get on that call with Paul. It's not going to hurt. It's going to take a bit of time. And then I think everybody should take Attraction and Action as their first step because it gives you a very holistic view and it's almost a buffet. You can pick what works for you out of there. The training I do is very, very specific. But Shon also is the ultimate master on changing people's mindset and getting people to take activity or to take action on activity. So that's my homework assignment for everybody is get on a call with Paul. There's no downside for it. I tell you, my life has changed since I started this Wednesday call, and it was followed up the next day, essentially, with a call with Paul. And, it's not just my life has changed because I'm doing stuff with Shon. My mindset has changed from I'm a really good salesman to I need this to be a business. And that's the start. And if you get there, Shon's got the tools to get you the rest of the way. So jump on that call.
John, I'm so glad you touched on that because many people, as it really stage in Attraction, they don't treat it like a business. It's just I'll get around to it someday. Or when I think about it, when I've got that break in my schedule, I'm going to focus on that. And then they say yes to every other distraction in the world, right? They have failed themselves in creating daily standards. Guys, a standard that I would encourage you to engage with is just 5 live conversations per day with other agents. And it's a heck of a lot easier than you think. It'll take you less than an hour. And that's if you're hand dialing. If you're not using a dialer, you'll make 5 to 7 conversations happen per hour. Now, Pareto's principle applies. 5 live conversations, 20% of 5, at least one person is going to say, yes, I want to investigate EXP. Now, John Mendelson shared with you that by mastering the lead-in script, by mastering the objection handler, his close ratio is 2 to 1. So it's 50%. So if he's doing, say, 6 conversations a day, he's getting 3 people to say, yes, I'll investigate EXP. Now, if you did that daily and you got one person every day, Monday through Friday, to say, yes, I'm interested in investigating EXP, that's 5 people that will invest the time with you to learn about EXP. Again, apply Pareto's principle, the 80-20 rule. 20% of 5 people who say yes, at least one person is going to shift their license over to EXP. It's just a numbers game. If you want more attraction appointments, all you have to do is create more conversations. And just have that fire in the belly that, you see, we all have this gut gauge, right? Where you need to ask the agent that question. And for some reason, Mick gets hold of your mindset and you say, I'm just going to let it go. And you don't have the conversation. And then 2 months later, you find out they shifted over to EXP, and that's painful. So you got to push Mick aside. Mick is an acronym, my inner cynic. We all have one. It's that inner voice that talks you out of doing the things you need to do. So how many of you guys willing to commit every conversation you have with a non-EXP agent, and I don't care what the subject matter is, that you're going to have that 60-second add-on conversation? How many of you guys willing to do that? Good,
Hey,
good. So
Sean.
you're willing to risk your ego a little bit. They might reject you. They might reject you. They might even hang up on you, and you're going to have your precious little ego bruised. Yet, here's the point. The more you risk that ego, the bigger your bank account balance gets. It's just the willingness to invite them to the conversation. So with that said, you guys, I'm out of time. Yet, Tim, I know you want to stay on the line. Paul, you can stay on the line, answer any questions they have about the website. John, you can stay on the line to answer any questions about your training that launches live tomorrow. Guys, I would strongly encourage you. Seriously, I will put my reputation on the line for that program. I think it is lights out, beautiful. It is awesome. It will definitely help you get into action around attraction to build that residual, that passive income by improving your knowledge, skills, mindset, and habits, strengthening that foundation. And with the right foundation, you can build your RevShare group as big as you want to build it. So with that said, stay around, ask any questions of Tim, of Paul, of John. Guys, I got to jump. Thank you for your time. Until we talk again next week, just be on purpose, be productive, and always be powerful. Talk to you all then. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Sean. Hey, Tim, I'm going to jump in and say essentially one sentence here. Well, it's probably a couple sentences, but it's one thought on what Sean was saying. I try to simplify everything because I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I married a wildly brilliant woman, and that's why we still exist. But here's the way that I want everybody to look at revenue share. Take the idea of reaching out to people you don't know off the table for a minute, because that might be scary. But let's say that and I've said this before, so if you heard it before, you can listen again. Chris, if I came to you and said, hey, brother, I got this crazy job for you. First off, it's going to suck. But here's what it is. I'm going to have you digging ditches for 1 to 2 hours a day. On month 1, I'm not going to pay you a penny. Month 2, I'm really not going to pay you much. Month 3, let's say I'm going to pay you $1,500 for that month. Month 6, I'm going to pay you $7,000. Month 12, I'm going to pay you $15,000, and I'm going to pay that for you for the rest of your life, and you never have to lift a shovel again. Every person on this call would be in their car driving to Lowe's to buy a shovel. I'm not telling you to stand out in the sun digging ditches. I'm telling you, get the right tools and a system and pick up the phone and call people. This is not expireds and FSBOs, people. This is not, I have never been hung up on an agent attraction call. The harshest answer I got was, oh, is this a recruiting call? And I was like, no, it's an opportunity to change your life call. And we both chuckled, and then we got off the phone. And I moved on because I have 140,000 more agents in my database, and 20% of them meet the avatar I'm looking for. So guys, what's it gonna be? I'm not going to give you the opportunity to dig ditches and pay you millions of dollars for it, but I will give you the opportunity to pick up your phone and let EXP pay you millions of dollars over your lifetime for it. Which would you rather do? Stand out in the sun digging ditches, or sit in your office with a cup of coffee? I make, with a click to dial, single line dialer, I don't ever use a triple line for this. I make about 15 dials an hour because I do it about 30 seconds of research on everybody first, and I have all their data ahead of time, which I teach people exactly how to get it all set up within your CRM, build it out for you, that type of thing. But I make about 15 dials in an hour. I talk to about 5 people. I want to clarify something. When I said I have a 50% conversion rate on the soft nose with that objection handler, I was running a 50% conversion rate overall on phone call I've never talked to before to appointment. And I realized that I was probably setting appointments a little aggressively with people who didn't really want to meet. And now I've got no-shows and cancellations. So my opinion is your goal should be 1 out of 3 people you talk to will set an appointment with you. And you know why that should be your goal? Because the NAR data says that 30% of agents are looking at switching brokerages at any given point of any given year. Guys, you're not searching for agents doing it this way. You're sorting through agents. My kid's favorite thing in the world to do is go on a beach and we collect seashells. We're not searching and chasing seashells. We're enjoying the beach. We're walking down it. We just pass by all the what we call there's a specific type of shell and rock. They're called leverlays. You leverlay where you found her. Just let her sit, move on, sort through the bad ones, pick up the good ones. If you do that for 2 hours a day, 12 months later, your life will change forever. I absolutely promise you that. The difficulty is we live in a now society. I could spend the same amount of time in an hour. I can get 2 to 3 listing appointments on expireds, and I know at least one of them is going to pay me 10 grand in the next 60 days. But 60 days later, I got to do it again. And sometime you're going to wake up and you're going to be like, do I want to make 300 dials a day at 70 years old? Or do I want to stop working at 45 because I have to, and then keep doing what I like doing, which is coaching and training and helping for the rest of my life? That's what I choose. I choose getting paid over and over again. And it's a new concept to me because I come from a middle-class family of educators. We don't think that way. Dial into this call. Get on the call with Sean or with Paul. See what Icon has to offer that is what you need, and then just have the guts to make a commitment to attraction and action. I have no stake in that. I don't do anything with that, but it will give you the tools, the training, the support, and help your mindset. What was the word I was looking for? You got to change your mindset. It'll help your mindset shift to, I will list 5 less houses this year, and I'm going to list 15 agents more. And then I'm going to help each one of those recruit 2 agents. And then I'm going to help each one of those recruit 1 agent. It's my 15 2-in-1 model. 15 cappers in line 1. Tap rooting. Help each one of them recruit 2 agents that they know. That's a warm call now. I call Bob. I say, Bob Andrews. Hey, John Mendelson. Hey, listen, we've not met. Reason for my call. Chris and I were talking the other day, and he's like, you are a guy I got to meet. Instantly, he's going to listen to my call. So 15 in your front line, taproot, 2 for each of them. You got 30 in line 2. Taproot, 1 for each of them. You got 30 in line 3. You only go after cappers. If you lived in an area where your average price point was 500,000, you wouldn't go farm a neighborhood that was 125 grand, right? Don't go after newbies. You do it later, but don't build your base with an unstable foundation. So 15 2-in-1, all cappers. The distribution of the income per level is $26.67 an agent, 75 agents, $198,000 a year. Somebody raise your hand and tell me $198,000 of passive income does not change your life completely. And then I'm just going to call you a liar because it changes all of our lives. So guys, I'm not saying get into my stuff. I'm saying don't miss this. Like it's become like a hard passion of mine. It's going to be easier this year than next year. It's going to be way easier this year than 5 years from now because there's more people that are figuring out how to recruit, which means more agents here, which means less agents to recruit. Don't wait. Spend 18 months, change your life forever, and then you can wait. But once you build out your 15 2-in-1, that's going to just naturally start growing on your own, on its own. But you're going to have a foundation that is unbelievable. They say that compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. RevShare is the 9th. Guys, don't miss it.
John, can I add something onto that? And I know I wasn't sure if
you got to ask Tim. I told Tim I was going to say 1 sentence or 5 sentences. And Tim, I saw when I said that, Tim he didn't roll his eyes, but he's like, yeah, John, you're going to say 1 sentence.
Knew what was coming.
Yeah, he knows me. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say there. Again, get on that phone call with Paul. Get your life changed.
Guys, I don't bite. Let me just say I don't bite. I've talked to many of you already. We're just here to have an open discussion about your challenges and what's stopping you from getting to where you want to go. You got to start somewhere. So let's talk about it. Sign up for the call. I do have another appointment, so I do have to go. And I'd love to talk to each and every one of you.
And real quick, hey, Paul, I didn't sign up for anything right away after we talked, did I? A year ago.
No, and I don't pressure you to as well.
No.
It's not about selling you anything. It's about offering you help if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, I didn't sign up for it. And then 3 months later, I was banging my head against the wall. And I jumped into attraction and action. I pulled some nuggets out. I stayed on this call. I built an entire business out of the mindset shift that started with stumbling onto this call, didn't know Sean, didn't know anybody, calling Paul, having a conversation with Paul. And I'm telling you, you just got to take that first step, man. Bilbo Baggins, right?
That's it.
Step out of your
I've
front
talked-
door, go see the world, because it's full of cash if you just spend a couple hours a day, guys. So sorry, I'm super passionate about it now. It's become different. It used to be a how do I make money? And now, like, this is my legacy, is trying to bring a systematic approach to every agent who wants to do agent attraction, regardless of their pedigree, their production, whether they know 10 people who own brokerages or not. Look, I knew 2 real estate agents when I came to EXP because I hadn't sold since 2019. One of them was my business partner on a cold calling business. I stopped that. That cut out 200 grand of income for her. Still good friends, but she's not jumping to EXP. She's not thrilled. The other one was my best friend. He came with me. Everybody else I've ever recruited, I've never met before. And originally, like I said, it was about the money. And now the relationships that I've built with the people that I've brought onto EXP, and knowing that we're all helping each other change each other's lives. You know, wake up at 80, 90 years old and don't feel like you were really lived your life well if you've got 1,500 people in your downline and each one of their lives is better. I could get like sappy about that, but just don't miss it, guys. Don't miss it.
All right, guys, got to go. See y'all. Talk to you soon.
All right.